Oh, it is short.
Alrighty, today's English page is on mixing verb tenses. So if you look up at your box at the top, I know the pictures on this one are super duper fun. I like all the grapes. It says that sometimes a change in verb tenses is necessary to show the order of events, a shift in time, or conditions for something to happen. So far when we've been talking about subject and verb agreement this chapter, we've been saying if you start your paper or if you start your story in past tense, what does your whole story need to be? Past tense. We don't go back and forth past tense, present tense, future tense, and have all these like random verbs everywhere because it confuses the reader. But there are times where you can switch from a past tense to a future tense, okay? But it has to be appropriate for what you're talking about. There has to be a reason you're switching the tense, and that reason they give you would be to show the order of events. So if you're telling somebody a story about what happened, and then what happened, and then what happened, and so because that happened, this will happen. That would be in future tense, okay? Or if we have a shift in time. Maybe we gave somebody a bunch of stuff that happened in the past, and now we're telling them what happened right now. Okay, so we would shift in time and be telling people what happened right now. Or if we have conditions for something to happen. So for this to happen, this needs to happen. And that would be in present or future tense. So those are the times where we can switch tenses and it be okay. Usually that will be when we're writing a story or writing a paper in class, okay? And it will just depend on what your story or your paper is about, and to make it make sense, you would switch tenses. So look at the sample sentences they gave you. William borrowed a book from Xavier. Xavier has read the book already, okay? So has read is present perfect tense, right? Okay, and then borrowed is what? Past tense, okay? Then we have the next sentence says, William will return the book. What's will return? Future. When he finishes with it. What is finishes? That's present. He's doing it right now. He's working towards being finished with that book, okay? So we've changed the tense in those sentences to show a shift in time so that it makes sense what we are doing or what will take place. So let's look at number one. We're going to go through these. Your whole paper today is lots of fun little bubbles. Just a reminder that tomorrow we will have our English quiz. So we will do a practice page before, which usually helps us to just remember those things and go over them. And then we'll have our quiz. We will have an English test next week. This is the final quiz for this chapter. Next week, when you come back on Monday, it will be chapter 4 review. Okay, so we will review on Monday, and then depending on how that goes, we might review again on Tuesday. That means that puts your test probably on Wednesday next week, okay? So that you're ready. Hopefully you've kept your papers at home so that if you need to look at those and go over those as you need to study, that will be helpful. All right, we're gonna mark the correct verb. Look at a little silkworm down there, he's cute. That's why I left him on there, because he's a little cute guy. Mark the correct verb to verb form to complete the sentence. So number one says, our class learned that a silkworm blank a type of caterpillar. What would you put there? Is, okay? We wouldn't put was because do we still have silkworms today? Yes. Now, if silkworms were extinct, we would put was. But because silkworms are still here and they're still in the present, we put is. Number two, Chinese people have produced silk for thousands of years. Legend says that an emperor's wife blank silk and taught others about it. What do you think we should put there, Raphael? Discovered. Good. There's lots of clues that tell us to do discovered. Taught is one of them because taught is what? Past tense. And then another one is the fact that it says legend says. A legend is usually what? Something that happened in the past. Okay? So both of those give us a clue that that should be discovered. Number 3, a female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs before she what? Dies. Number 4, the silkworm spins a cocoon from one long fiber. Workers blank the cocoon to get the fibers. Lena? Unravel. Good. We know that's a present tense because it says workers blank the cocoon to get. So they're doing it right now. Number 5. The workers clean and blank the fibers into thread. Then they dye the thread. After the thread dries, the workers weave it into beautiful silk fabric. What do you think, G?
Spin.
Good. The workers clean and spin. Okay, if it was will spin, it would also have to be the workers will clean. Okay, so the verbs, if you have 2 verbs, they have to be in the same tense there. Number 6, and our little buddy at the bottom. Number 6, the silk making process blank a secret for many years. Now silk is made in many countries. Maddie?
Was.
Yes, it was a secret, but now it is not. So we're switching times between those 2 sentences. Alrighty, let's flip it over. You've got more of these guys on the back.
Goodbye, silk.
But not as cute of a worm on the back.
Oh man, there's no worm.
So sad that there's no worm.
Wow.
Alright. Make it a little smaller so we can see all of it. Number 7. The Silk Road is a name for a system of trade routes between China and the Middle East. Traders blank along these routes in ancient times. Temperance. Yes, they traveled. One of our key things is it says
Travel.
in ancient times. That tells us it happened in the past. Number 8, Middle Eastern and European people bought silk, paper, and gunpowder from China. Historians blank these inventions today. Caroline? Study. Good. We know it's study because of what word?
Today.
Today. So it's happening right now. Present tense. Number 9, silk has been a symbol of royalty and wealth in some societies. In some places, common people blank not allowed to wear silk. Kaylin? Common people were not allowed to wear silk. We wouldn't say common people will be not allowed to wear silk. That wouldn't make sense. Okay.
Would be fine too.
Number 10. Archaeologists blank silk while they were visiting the burial sites of ancient Egyptian kings. Grayson?
I found.
Good. Archaeologists have found silk. You wouldn't say has found. That would be if we had one archaeologist. Number 11. Silk production blank to Europe after the Crusades, and weavers in Italy and France sold their silk to other countries. Katie? Came. Good. Silk production came to Europe. It happened in the past. After the Crusades happened in the past as well. Let's pull this up so we can see the remaining ones. Number 12. After the Industrial Revolution, many factories blank cotton fabric. Silk became too expensive for most people. Grayson? Good. Many factories produced. Number 13. Polyester and nylon are imitation silk fabrics. Silk blank still an expensive fabric today. Connie? Is good. Today tells us that we present tense. Silk is still an expensive fabric today. And 14, the Bible blank silk in several places. The woman in Proverbs 31 uses silk to make clothes. Willow? Mentions. Good. Alrighty, we are done with that page, so let's go ahead and put it in our black folders.